The following is a paid program that is paid for by Planet TV Studios.
Welcome to New Frontiers. Today we spotlight Dr. Brandon Guff, a renowned orthopedic surgeon based in Scottsdale, Arizona. As a leader in hip and knee treatments, Dr. Guff combines expertise in robotic-assisted and microinvasive surgical techniques to deliver transformative outcomes. At the heart of his practice is an ambulatory surgery center focused on wellness and accelerated recovery, where patients experience seamless same-day procedures using advanced tools like the Mako robotic system. From managing sports injuries to combating arthritis and avascular necrosis, Dr. Guff's commitment to holistic, patient-centered care empowers individuals to return to vibrant, pain-free living.
Here at Guff Surgical, we offer minimally invasive, muscle-sparing, robotic-assisted surgery. But what that basically means for my patients is a faster recovery time, less pain after the surgery, more accurate placement of my implants. My goal since I started practice was to be able to take my patients who want to be active and get them back to this active lifestyle with minimal downtime, minimal pain, and the least amount of recovery time as possible.
I had this knee replacement done 8 days ago. It was just a quick in and out. I felt like, I was in it at 8 o'clock. The surgery was about 9:15, and I think I was out at 12.
I think advanced recovery techniques are critical in hip and knee replacement. And at Guff Surgical, that's what we definitely offer. These range from muscle-sparing surgeries, minimally invasive surgeries, and robotic assistant surgeries. I'm excited to offer my patients muscle-sparing, robotic-assisted knee replacement. Here at Guff Surgical, we don't cut any muscle at all. Our patients, because of this, are able to walk within a few hours of surgery. They're able to go home the same day.
I'm walking without a walker, and I haven't had a lot of pain. The most I've taken is extra strength Tylenol.
Almost all of my patients take no narcotics after surgery, and their pain is mostly controlled with Tylenol. They're able to do all the things they want to do, whether it's playing with their grandchildren or hiking the Grand Canyon, or even winning a world championship on their bicycle.
This is my World Championship cycling jersey, and this is basically the embodiment of the past decade of work that I've put into it. And without Dr. Guff's procedures that he worked on me, none of this would have been possible. So I've had a total hip replacement in 2014, which was my first one with Dr. Guff, and then in 2019 we did my total knee replacement. Getting these surgeries allowed me to maintain that super high level active lifestyle where if I didn't, I was just going to go the other direction.
I'm excited to offer my patients who undergo hip replacement a newer minimally invasive technique called the Direct Superior Approach. It offers our patients a quicker recovery, less muscle damage, almost no risk for dislocation after the surgery, and faster recovery. Okay, so I'm going to take you guys through a robotic knee replacement that we used during surgery. So here's a knee that we have that's to simulate a real leg. We basically hook the patient up to sensors, which is what you can see here, and the robot then can visualize this and see the leg in space. The robot will capture the values, and then I'm able to actually adjust the implant based on these values to fit this leg, particular leg, perfectly. We can actually tailor fit the positioning of this implant to the patient. And this robotic arm actually comes into the field and cuts this bone for me. And the beauty of it is it actually won't let me cut something I shouldn't cut. Here at Guff Surgical, each patient feels like they're part of the family, and communicating with our office is not an issue. We have cell phones for every provider in the office, and each patient is provided this information. So there's never an issue with communicating with us, and I truly believe this helps in their recovery process, knowing that if they have an issue or a question, they can get a hold of us at any time and put their concerns at ease and get back to their active lifestyle, which is what they're looking for.
getting the proper treatments, getting a great team behind me to help me recover was as important as the surgery itself.
Our complication rate is extremely low, our infection rate is extremely low, and our patient's recovery is simply astonishing.
Planet TV Studios presents New Frontiers featuring Daniel C. Allison, MD, FACS, an esteemed orthopedic oncologist whose expertise and dedication have advanced care for complex orthopedic conditions. Dr. Allison and his team specialize in treating rare musculoskeletal tumors, including metastatic bone disease, osteosarcoma, and soft tissue sarcomas through multidisciplinary approaches. Beyond tumor removal, he employs advanced surgical techniques to reconstruct bones, joints, and soft tissues, restoring function and improving quality of life for patients facing severe arthritis, fractures, infections, and other challenging conditions. His innovative methods and compassionate care are redefining musculoskeletal treatment.
Our practice tends to take the most complex cases, very commonly cases where people have been told there are no other options. So we try to grant them the hope that we're going to use everything in modern technology that's safe and reasonable to make their life as good as possible. So Roy will be talking to you today about his condition and what led him to decide to move forward to proceeding with the amputation, which is a very difficult decision. But with his degree of injury and nerve and muscle damage and contracture, he is likely going to have much more function with what we do today.
It was in a motorcycle accident. After the accident, I've been having a lot of problems. You know, one of the main reasons that I've been coming here, or at least looking for the amputation, is because I've been getting a lot of infections. They, seem like the older I get, the worse they get. They take longer to heal. So I'm afraid that, if I don't take care of it, it will probably end up killing me.
Today we'll be focusing a lot on a new technology called osseointegration, which for the most part means the bone growing into an implant. This is important with amputees because we can have an implant grow into their bone and have it emerge from the skin and connect to the prosthetic that they're going to use to walk or to use their upper extremity. And now that prosthetic is one with their body, it's one with their skeleton, as opposed to being something that's just wrapped around their skin. And the differences in function have been phenomenal. And the differences in people using their limbs and going off and doing things that they couldn't do before and back to close to sometimes where they were before they even lost the limb.
The main hope, get rid of the pain. I have chronic pain for the last 18, 19 years. Better mobility. I'm an electrician, so going up and down ladders kind of makes it really hard. At the end of the day, I can barely move. So once the procedure is done and be able to get the prosthesis, I'm hoping to regain a more mobile, more normal life.
One of the big problems with amputations tends to be the phantom limb pain afterwards, where people can still feel their limb and it can be painful. By rerouting the nerve back into another nerve that's entering the muscle, we complete that circuit and we make that live wire go into something that's more calm. And our early studies have indicated if you do it up front, it really dramatically improves the patient's comfort. Not to mention provides a good source for these new complex prosthetics that can detect nerve impulse activity to detect that to actually motor and power the prosthesis. So between the three of these, the osseointegration, the Ertl reconstruction, the targeted muscle reinnervation, we're going to give Roy the best chance at having the best limb and the best life possible. So fortunately, the procedure went off without a hitch. We got the hardware out safely, which sometimes can be challenging. Looks like he's poised for success. We're going to let everything heal and come back in 3 months, do the coupling procedure, and then it's off to the races. With emerging technologies and new techniques and people who are dedicated to their craft, there is hope if you've been told that you have a condition that can't be treated or things can't get any better. There's always possibility that it could. And you can see our osseointegration stem here fit in perfectly, right up and down the axis of the tibia. It's really exciting because most people think of an amputation as a step down, something major, debilitating thing to happen. But in his case, it already is, even 1 month after our coupling, a big step up compared to where he was before. He's already functionally much better, and he's just going to get better from here, both in terms of being able to do things that he couldn't do before, getting out into the world.
With this new prosthetic, I'm walking like I haven't walked or feel in 20 years. This is amazing.
It's very responsive. You tap and you can feel it all the way to the bone, so it's pretty cool.
Within like 2 or 3 weeks of just using the prosthetic, it feels like I have a lot more mobility and a lot more freedom than before.
Welcome to New Frontiers. In this episode, we spotlight Neonc Technologies Holdings, a pioneer in neurological therapeutic delivery. Neonc's proprietary platform technology is transforming pharmaceutical treatments by effectively bypassing the blood-brain barrier, thereby unlocking new possibilities for addressing central nervous system diseases. Neonc is preparing to go public through a direct listing on the NASDAQ in the first quarter of 2025.
As a surgical neuro-oncologist, my job is to operate on patients with brain cancer. Despite the improvements that we've had in surgical technology, surgical technique, radiation technology, and also chemotherapy, the lifespan of our patients with brain cancer has not significantly improved. A patient with the worst type of brain cancer, glioblastoma, still would only have a lifespan, usually about 15 to 18 months. And I thought that we have to do better. And that's why I wanted to found Neonc Technologies with better techniques for which we can treat our brain cancer patients.
I feel incredible. I feel so grateful to have access to Neo and to the doctors, to the incredible doctors that have been working with me. So I feel marvelous.
I wanted to develop technology where we can enhance not only the survival of our brain cancer patients, but also enhance their quality of life. And that's how Neonc Technologies was founded. The standard of care for drug delivery is that they're giving it orally or they're giving it intravenously. And so when you give something orally or intravenously, it goes throughout your whole body, and some of it goes to the brain. The problem is that once it gets to the brain, it hits the blood-brain barrier, and so very little of it gets to the target. And that's where Neonc Technologies comes in, is that we're working on different ways that we can deliver drugs better to the brain and also develop new drugs that can be used for that purpose.
I'm just so grateful that she had this drug that actually worked, and that was able to stop the disease progression and give her so much of her life back.
So we take advantage of a neurological structure in our brain called the cranial nerves. And these cranial nerves can conduct drugs back to the brain.
We are the first mover in delivering intranasal drug delivery through inhalation. And I believe that's going to be a game changer.
We have been running clinical trials with our drugs and our new delivery system.
I really benefited so much from the clinical trial that I was able to do, and we just have such hopes for the future thanks to this trial and other trials like it. So it's just really it is the future, and we're just so hopeful.
We will be able to allow patients to get treatment at home, spend good quality time with their loved ones with minimal side effects, and still be able to extend their life. The patients tolerate this treatment very well. They can do it at home. They don't have to go to the hospital to get IV infusions. They don't get sick. They don't lose their hair. So their quality of life is really good.
So we anticipate accessing the U.S. capital markets here in the near future. We've been preparing for this for some time. That doesn't mean that this is the end. It means this is the beginning. The rubber hits the road when we become a public company someday. And that will allow us to access a significant amount of capital. Our phase 2 studies is right around the corner to be fully enrolled. Within the next 2 quarters, we will be fully enrolled and we'll have a readout, and we'll have a binary effect here very shortly. That should give us a very significant step up in our valuations and allow us to raise more capital as we increase the shareholder value.
Neonc Technologies Holdings Incorporated is at the forefront of neurological care, redefining central nervous system therapeutics. We are proud to share their story on New Frontiers. Stay tuned for more cutting-edge advancements transforming healthcare. I'm Gina Grad. On Planet TV Studios' New Frontiers, we examine the Fly Little Bird Foundation, a nonprofit dedicated to advancing research for an ultra-rare disease. Learn how they support families, partner with doctors and researchers, and work toward new discoveries bringing vital hope to those in need.
Preston hit every one of his milestones as a baby, and then when he was about almost 2, he started to kind of regress, and he lost some of his words. So he was able to say mama, dada, and then he kind of stopped talking.
Her doctors are like, we think speech, OTPT, continuing all the therapies, and then we noticed really none of that was helping either.
I mean, it was very frustrating because you just wanted some kind of answer as to what the problem is, and let's see if somebody can try to help us to fix it. It was just hard not knowing.
When I would type in the search bar, it would be like 0 search results. The lack of knowledge that our local doctors had was scary, but even the lack in the world was just like, we felt really lonely.
We did the whole exome testing, and it came back that he had the TBL1XR1 disorder.
I'm glad we have a diagnosis because we have something to go off of. The lack of research and really resources is the downfall of it. Nobody really understands it because you say TBL1XR1, somebody's like, what is that?
Our geneticists were 350 miles away, and their goal was to name it. And once they named it, they did kind of say, there's nothing more we can do for you.
We created Fly Little Bird because there wasn't a foundation to support this disease, and without a foundation to raise awareness and generate research with ultra-rare diseases, if it's not the parents and caregivers doing it, nothing's going to happen.
The first step of having any sort of understanding or treatment is to form a family group, a patient advocacy group, because then we can collect data on a larger scale. We can see more kids, we can understand what symptoms they're having, what is important to the families, and where to go from there.
My dream is that it will get to the point of clinical trials or a treatment, something that will markedly improve the quality of life for our children. We're doing everything we can to get there and to partner with the right researchers to push that forward.
The Fly Little Bird Foundation, it opened up this community, but it's so nice to get answers from other parents on things that they're going through. The doctors don't even know, and so just us parents being able to bounce off of each other is amazing.
Just being able to say the name of the genetic mutation and have somebody show some sort of a glimmer that they know what you're talking about That's huge. And then to be able to say, hey, my child is having these symptoms. Have you all ever experienced this?
Being around other people as caregivers, they're doing hard things, I'm doing hard things, we're all doing hard things, but we're doing it together, which is kind of nice.
Traditionally, the model has been to say, this is what you have, give a diagnosis, and offer not much in terms of treatment. I realized there are treatment options that are available, and I became more interested in helping communities like this find some of those options. There's really nothing as a physician like that experience of seeing patient after patient with the same diagnosis. The ability to see similarities, the ability to pull out common concerns from the parents and the families, identify features that are similar between individuals.
The more kids you can identify and bring into a study at a center like this, the better you're going to understand the disease. So you can say, hey, this is what the disease is, this is how we can treat it.
I hope that the work that we're doing right now lays the groundwork for understanding of this disorder and really starts the ball rolling towards getting trials and treatments moving for the future.
I hope they leave with more hope than they had beforehand, that they're not alone and that they have a community that they can reach out to and that will help support them, and that people are working on understanding their child's disease better and are working to try to come up with treatments for their children to improve their lives.
Acromegaly, a rare and often misunderstood endocrine disorder, affects thousands, yet too many remain undiagnosed. In this episode of New Frontiers, we explore how Acromegaly Community Inc. is transforming awareness, advocacy, and patient support for those living with this challenging condition.
I was undiagnosed for 16 years. When I first found out that I was diagnosed with acromegaly, I didn't Google anything. I was scared.
From the fatigue, from all the different challenges that patients face, it is a true struggle, and a lot of patients turn inward.
Acromegaly is a chronic disabling multi-organ disease that affects many physical and psychological aspects of the patient, often resulting in complex management issues faced by the clinician.
With acromegaly and being a rare disease, it takes years and years to be diagnosed. Even before diagnosis, patients are struggling with what's happening to my body. Why are my hands growing? Why are my feet growing? Everything's stiffening.
As a patient myself with acromegaly, I've understood from the very beginning the value of education regarding acromegaly. I think it's very important that patients be able to make informed choices, and in order to do so, they need to have all the correct information being given to them regarding this disease.
I feel extremely confident in referring patients to the acromegaly community. They're professional, they're evidence-based, they're well organized, and they have a very, very laser focus on improving the lives of patients with acromegaly.
Because such a rare disease, you oftentimes feel alone. Going to a community, knowing that people have similar disease, and then so they will, okay, so they at least feel I'm not alone, I can fight it with some other people with similar problem.
Directing the patient to acromegaly community provides a very important resource for the patients and their caregivers to meet other patients, to gain emotional support, and to provide the patient a safe platform for them to better educate themselves of the disease by connecting them to other patients who have lived with the disease for a much longer period of time.
The acromegaly community not only provides tremendous and very consistent emotional support for not only patients but caregivers and their families, and also provides amazing educational opportunities for patients to learn to manage their disease independently and understand the options available to them.
In the acromegaly community, it has been a very effective voice with the pharmaceutical industry, being able to convince them to accelerate the development of novel treatments and new molecules for this disorder and to bring them to clinical trials. It has been very effective in enabling recruitment of patients to clinical trials, which will ultimately help the entire community.
Even myself, I've participated in 4 clinical trials. I'm proud to say that our community typically steps up and we're able to fill a lot of these trials that need patients.
Acromegaly Community dissipates information about state-of-the-art therapies, and it's also committed to expose patients and physicians to new therapies in the research pipeline. Many of the patients from the acromegaly community have been encouraged and have participated in clinical trials, and we came across solutions that really have influenced and positively influenced patient outcomes.
Patient-focused drug development is really key in the rare disease community. As a parent of a child with a rare disease, I know how important it is to be able to develop products that actually have a positive impact on the lives of patients.
The acromegaly community is an awesome resource for anybody that has acromegaly and a family. They'll stand in front of you when you need somebody to advocate, when you need somebody to help you find a direction. They'll stand behind you when you need support and you need that extra push or you need just love. They also, but most importantly, they'll stand beside you and hold your hand as you go through this journey.
This has been New Frontiers from Planet TV Studios. See you next time.